Alright, welcome back to the channel. So today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making my legendary smoke mix, but it's usually cooked and turned into that peanut butter look. And then you have the other one that is the legendary mix, which uses Gulf wax, right? You're supposed to be using an electric burner. I usually use the gas burner outside of my house, the propane one, and it works just fine. Because I'm heating up this guy right here, and you can see I've melted it in here many times. So yeah, that's just a quick disclaimer. Don't do what I do, but everything else that follows, yes, you can do the same things as far as to get your results. So generally, the smoke mixture is going to be a 60-40 ratio, and then you're going to add 50 grams of wax to that mixture in order to make it, into the legendary smoke. Normal smoke is just 60-40 potassium nitrate and sugar, and then that's pretty much it. And then I'm going to show you how I make my little containers and all that good stuff. I'm going to be using gum tape to seal it up and all that cool stuff. So this mixture doesn't require you to be precise and grind it all up and all that, but I like doing it just to incorporate the sugar and potassium nitrate a little bit. Other than that, it's not really important. So anyways, let's get it started. I'm gonna be doing a 100-gram mixture, which I'm gonna be splitting up 50-50 for the legendary and the regular smoke mix. Now, I used to make the smoke mix like this, using the cooking and peanut butter method and all that. That's how I used to make it back when I was making it. I tried the legendary mix and I couldn't get it to work, and I didn't know why, but then I started realizing that the ratios on that has to be really good. Like, you can't have too much wax or not enough because it won't work. So that's why when it comes to that, you definitely need to pay attention to how much wax you're using. There it is. I don't know if you can see that, 60 grams. And then I'm gonna be adding 40 grams of sugar. This is just regular table sugar. You could use powdered sugar, but I like using this sugar. For some reason, whenever I melt this together in the wax, it works out pretty good. So it's not physically, mixed into it where it's dissolved, because the wax does not dissolve the sugar or anything like that. It just holds it and allows the fire to burn and create a lot of smoke. Your sugar is your fuel, and your potassium nitrate's your oxidizer, and that's how that works. The wax is just a suspension, and that's all it does. That's why you're able to make smoke with just using potassium nitrate and sugar. All right, so I'm gonna measure out 50 grams and 50. It's not very, very important to get it all like that, but I just like doing that. So that's 50 grams. Now it's time to weigh out your wax. Like I mentioned before, it is 50 grams to 100. So I'm gonna be using 25 grams of wax. Now, if you use a little bit extra wax, that's okay, because it's just gonna float to the top. You can skim that off. But generally you want to use a decent amount of wax and not go overboard. Now, like I said, it's a low flame. You don't wanna burn your wax. So you just want it to melt. So I'm gonna put that on there like so. Make sure I'm recording that. Okay. And then I'm gonna turn it down. I don't want it too high, because you don't want to heat it up too quickly, because if you do that, you're gonna burn the wax, and that's not what you want. So what I'm gonna do is let this guy burn here. All right, so it's coming down to the last bit of wax. So right now is a good time to take it off, put it on the cool concrete. And like I said before, I'm mixing it like this because it's just wax in there, so there's no actual, whatever you would call it. Actually, I'm gonna just dump that. I'm not even gonna granulate anything. I know I was, but so you just dump that guy in, and you just kind of mix it up a little bit. So another cool thing you could do is just pour it onto a piece of foil like I'm doing, and then you can shape it to whatever you want. I like doing that too, but let's see, it's gonna pour out here. And it's nice and smooth, so that way it pours in pretty easily. Whenever you use a whole bunch of mixture that's kind of like dry like this, it'll still pour nicely. It's just a lot thicker now. I think I have a little bit too much wax on this one, but pretty much 25 grams or 50 grams per 100 is what you want to use. On this one I used like 27, so that's kind of a little bit too much, but it's okay. It's not going to do anything. It's just the wax. Let me try to clean this off real quick and see if I can get it to be a little bit better. Okay, so all I did was burn, or actually boil a little bit of water, and then it cleaned it out really nicely. So here comes the portion of the peanut butter type. Now, I'm not gonna burn all this only because I realized that I'm making too much for this. This guy here is looking like it's ready for the core. Now, it could be too big for this thing right here, like if I make it this big, but I think it'll be okay. So all you do is press into it, like so. Bigger the core, obviously, the more surface area it's gonna have, and it's gonna burn a lot more, but pretty much like that. So for this here, I'm gonna do it this way. It might not be the same measurement, but just to get an idea of, just do that. And then we'll leave the rest for later. I'll figure out what I'm gonna do with that. So this one you wanna do on a low flame. You don't wanna do it on a high because you'll burn it very quickly. So I'm gonna do it very, very, very low, which on the burner is gonna take a while, but that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna go ahead and cook that up, and then, okay. So here's a little peanut butter that I said. I'm gonna scoop this guy in there like so without trying to make a mess. This stuff is very, very thick, so it's gonna try to stick to whatever it's going into or coming out of. So, and that's okay. Spilling a little bit's not a big deal. Gonna scoop it in. Now this is the same way that people make rocket fuel with. So like the R candy, all it is just cooking the sugar. Smoke bomb, so I'm not really worried about it having an air pocket. But let me go ahead and just do the core real quick, and because it's still hot, obviously it's sticking to the marker, but either way it's not going to be a big deal. I could just kind of scrape it off. Now this thing does kind of solidify pretty quickly, and you can already hear it crunching off of my hands. So, and then yeah, I cut these like perfect, and I don't know why I do that. I should be having like a little overlap, but somehow I just always measure it right at the end of the other side, and then it kind of does that where it's right there, but I don't have anything covering the other end. So I'll probably end up getting another piece, or I'm just going to repurpose this little piece that I have here on the side, just to kind of gap that little tiny gap that was in there. So that's pretty much it for this process here. The sugar and wax make a really good smoke bomb. It's making a lot of smoke. Trying to get all the smoke. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and leave some comments down below or any questions you may have, and just stay tuned for the next video. Thank you guys for watching.